welcome to the podcast.
Thank
Arbab
you.
Shah.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you so much for coming in.
Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
Nick had been saying for a while, there's this person I met, and he just posts some really good content on LinkedIn that's just relevant for FMs, and you need to get him on the podcast.
Oh, thank you.
You'd obviously built quite the career and had a diverse range of experience. So we thought it would be a great opportunity to pick your brain a little bit and get some insight in for up-and-comers who are looking to build their careers.
Problem. Hopefully I can add some value. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, a lot of our listeners are in that early career stage in the FM space, and they're using this as a tool to learn and grow.
Yeah.
Then you've got some others that are seasoned. We've got lots of people who have been in the traps for ages. But I thought it'd be really interesting to pick your brain a little bit about what building your career has looked like, and best practices for FMs. I think is something that I think you would bring a lot of expertise to the table. So tell us a little bit about how you got into facilities.
Sure. Look, it wasn't intended when I.
It never is.
No, never is.
Yet
Absolutely.
to meet one that.
Never is 100%. No, when I came to Australia when I was 18, and then obviously. It was a different environment for me. Had to learn English, had to go to school, high school, and when we finished high school, my plan was always to get into business and do import-export business. Ended up doing a course in TAFE on that too, but then decided to take a bit of a break, and I think at the time, the easiest thing to do was to go into security, and so joined that. Intention was always to stay there for a couple of months, and then obviously go back into business and carry on with that. Didn't work out that way. Ended up staying in security for 3 years, and then along the way I met with my mentor, John Morrissey. He was the engineering manager at JLL at the time. So he pulled me into facilities. He saw, I guess he saw something. At the time, we used to sort of help out contractors and do bits and pieces. So he offered me my very first building manager role and on the Colonial portfolio, 56 Pitt Street. That was the Exchange building. So I started there. It was a very interesting year or so that I stayed in that role. Very challenging building, had everything from fire to gas leak to power outages to anything, you name it. As well. It kind of
everything that could go wrong.
Everything
could
go wrong. That's right. That's right. So, but it was interesting. It was a huge learning curve. I was sort of going into security, into facilities with no technical background, no knowledge of how to manage facilities and stuff as well. Kind of learned it on the job. As I said, my mentor and some guidance along the way that I received was amazing. Mm-hmm. That kind of set the foundation and helped me progress in that in the facilities career. He moved on from there and went to ABC, and naturally after a couple of months he called me up and in fact I moved on from
ABC.
Yeah, that's right, come to ABC. I've got a contracting role and need you to come and help me out in this area. So went in there, so same thing, just implemented few sort of facilities measures in there, health, security, and all the other areas. Because coming from security background was always sort of conduit just to go and help them out with their project. And then it kind of went from there. Went to Fuji Xerox and multiple other companies from there.
Yeah. Fuji Xerox is a name I have not heard in a long time. It's in school, photocopiers. Xerox now, I don't know.
They invented a lot more.
Did they?
More, yes.
What do they do these days? I have to Google them later. They probably do a lot.
Oh, they were amazing. They were absolutely amazing. They used to have a center in Zetland at the time, and they were pretty much recycling. They were very heavy at the time to have zero waste to landfill at the time, so they were sort of recycling pretty much 90% of the parts in there in-house.
There you go.
Yeah, amazing company, great values. Yeah.
Yeah.
There you go.
So you mentioned before that you'd not had any experience in the industry and everything went wrong and you had to learn on the job.
That's right.
How did you do that?
I think the best thing, I think you mentioned earlier on for new, new youngsters wanted to sort of experience facilities or going into facilities. The main thing is just you shouldn't be afraid to get your hands dirty.
Yeah.
By that I mean don't go on the tools and don't start plugging everything in. By that I mean go and spend time with your vendors. At the end of the day, we used to say in facilities that you're as good as your worst vendor. So the thing is, and at the same time as well, they are the people who are going to come and save you when it comes to situations or areas where you actually need them the most. And look, I was lucky enough that I met some great people along the way. They were willing to share their knowledge. They were willing to share their understanding. Started sort of telling me about chillers and about glycols and all that areas, how it works. There was a building 60 Castle Ray Street, and I remember that they were trialing out huge glycol tanks to see if you can just cool them and just sort of freeze them and then use that energy to sort of cool the building, and there were some very, very innovative ideas at the time in those buildings. And same thing, sort of learn from I guess the trendsetters at the time, the engineering managers. They were happy to sit down with you and explain to you as well, like, yeah, this is how it works, this is what we're planning on doing. There were a lot of challenges in there. Didn't get it 100% right. It was always like, I guess, 40% efficiency. To what they presented to what they were delivering was huge difference. But in saying that, there was one of those things that they weren't scared to, I guess, try out those innovations. And along the way, obviously, refinement came through, and some areas were fantastic. And same thing, some of the technologies that we were exploring at the time were LED lighting and stuff. Initially, no one wanted any bar of that, saying, no, this is not something.
Really?
Wow.
No. There were a lot of skepticism in terms of LED lighting is concerned. Yeah, a lot of the people were saying it's early technology, no one knows what it does and all the other stuff. And
now it's everywhere.
Now it's everywhere.
You were an early adopter.
Kind of, in a way. Like, same thing as well. You kind of, you listen to the experts and listen to the vendors as well. Some vendors will come in with the data and give you the evidence saying that, yeah, this is how we've trialed it. The other vendors will just sort of copy and paste information and present it to you. So to answer your question, yeah, look, to be honest, I guess building a relationship and asking the questions and going out with the vendors and and observing what they're doing and asking those questions is an amazing way to learn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can imagine, like, most of the facility managers we talk to, they've just got such a broad knowledge of everything that it takes to make their facility run. And then if they ever move on to a new facility, it's relearning. Like, they understand the general idea, but
exactly
it's
right.
all new for that. Each
that
building's
building.
unique and each facility is unique.
100%. Look, the thing is, like, for personally speaking, when I started my facilities career, starting as a building manager, I thought it was overwhelming for the first couple of months. Understanding, like, I had 50 odd something tenants, and there were small tenants to major tenants. We had, they're referring to the power shutdowns and stuff as well. So we used to have day traders in the building, and when we had to evacuate them because of power outages or because of gas leak and stuff as well, they weren't willing to move, and they just said, look, this is going to have a huge impact on our business for us to sort of go away and evacuate and come back and so on. It's sort of finding that balance and at the end of the day, just sort of be, I guess, assertive in that area that, look, this is all about safety and all about your care as well. At the end of the day, if something happens to you,
Yeah.
those millions of dollars and whatever that you're throwing at me as well, that doesn't matter.
No.
At the end of the day, we are safety conscious, and this is what you need to do. So it's just assertiveness earlier on is challenging for people to start sort of, I guess, influence the tenant and speak to them. Look, but at the end of the day, it all kind of worked out as well. So yeah.
That tenant relationship piece
Yeah.
for facility managers and building managers, it's a huge component. So there's the behind the scenes management of the actual facility itself, but a huge component is managing people. Right?
Absolutely.
How have you been able to develop that in your life?
People skills.
People skills? Because you're very good at it. You're very naturally warm. And
Yeah.
I'd say nearly all the facility managers we meet are that warm personality. But having both end would be tricky, I'm assuming.
Yeah, it is. It is. Look, facilities is one of those things. You kind of jack of all trades in a way as well. And over time, as you develop your career and as you develop your sense of understanding. Look, earlier in the career, I met a lot of facilities managers who were coming in from a technical background. They were either fridgies or plumbers or someone like that as well. It was easy transition for them to move into facilities and understand the dynamics and delivery of facilities. Someone like me, who's coming in from a non-technical background, has got no understanding of what is what, and sort of building it from there was overwhelming and challenging. But in saying that. Obviously now, and there weren't any courses at the time, if I remember correctly. And over the years, obviously there are management courses now. There are specific, like FMA have got facilities diplomas and facilities courses and stuff.
You're gonna love that.
Yeah. So sorry, I'm not sponsored by them, but I'm just saying they were helpful.
The FMA has come up on every podcast recording,
Okay.
which is a testament to the value that they provide.
They do add value. No
Sorry.
doubt about that.
That's why we react.
No, I've got nothing bad to say about FMA.
Yeah,
They're
fantastic.
great. Certainly, and look, I'll highly recommend for the new FMs to, I guess, look into that too. A lot of the organizations now, I guess, offering that course as a foundation for a lot of the FCs and FM naturally, because their career path and career trajectory is to move into FM. To answer your question in relation to, I guess, dealing with multiple tenants and understand them. Look, you'll always meet people at different levels. There are people who are naturally frustrated about something, and they will take their frustration out on you. And there are people who will understand where you're coming from. Sometimes you just have to put on that hat. If you trying to explain to someone the temperature is not right in your area, but the person sitting on the right-hand side is complaining of cold, and the person sitting on the left-hand side is complaining of being too hot. So you just need to find a balance, I guess, to try and please them. Sometimes it's a placebo effect as well, where you try and.
You tell them I've changed a bit.
Yeah. I shouldn't say that, but yeah, sometimes it happens.
Oh yes, it's 22 now.
Exactly. But other times it's just the environment, depending on the location where you're sitting and all the other stuff as well. So look, at the end, as long you try and I guess understand their situation and sort of relate to them as well, that you're trying to help them, they will listen to you and come to you, and if you're able to help them as well, it just builds up that rapport and relationship and goes a long way.
Yeah. The industry has, we were saying just before, has come a long way. Now there's a course. There wasn't a course before.
Of course.
When you started, were like all the standards a thing, and
That's
like
right.
because FM used to be basically from what I know of the industry, it was basically a role to make sure, just tick the box to make sure everything's working, and if something breaks down, you make sure you organise to get it fixed.
That's right.
But now it's not just about 100%. Making sure you're fixing something.
Yeah.
It's You got to make sure we're
BCA standards, all those sort of things. Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
we're compliant here.
Exactly, exactly.
Yeah. How did you go shifting that focus from being the one that was just fixing problems to now understanding compliance issues and risks?
Look, I think look, as far as my personal career is concerned, I think credit goes to Johnson Lang LaSalle. They were fantastic. In order for me to set my foundation in that portfolio was great. We used to have Marsh as insurance, and they used to give us this manual, and that manual covered everything in terms of what annual maintenance covers, what 6 monthly maintenance covers, what quarterly maintenance covers, what monthly maintenance covers in different aspects, mechanical, electrical, all that stuff. And they used to do audits on us on an annual basis too. Very overwhelming scenario at the time. They used to go through preventative maintenance cycles, check everything, confirm that whether you have done this or not. And it was like a grueling task. For 2 days you would be locked in the room and just you have to prove that you have done this, you have done that. But in saying that, it was a great learning exercise for someone who's setting up in that environment. There were references to appropriate standards. There were references to local council standards, local BCA standards, and you just reference that too. And then you build your PPMs and your day-to-day maintenance around that. Yeah. So that was great. Other than that, if I remember, they used to have a portal where engineering managers, we used to reach out to our peers and engineers if you have any specific questions. And for me, not having understanding, I always find it useful to reach out to them and ask them questions. They're very helpful. They always help each other out and guide you through it. So that always helps.
You've mentioned a few different challenges that you had early on, but then you immediately move on to saying, and I learnt this, and I got this out of it, which I imagine is probably a secret to why you've been able to build such a good career, because you're not getting overwhelmed, you're looking at the learning and getting better. How have you done that? How have you made sure that you've had that mindset?
Look, in terms of, I guess, challenges are concerned, I'm not going to lie, I did feel overwhelmed initially, coming in from a completely different background to walking into an environment where I have to learn everything from scratch. And then 1 minute you're dealing with the air conditioning matters, next minute you're dealing with electrical matters and plumbing issue and so on and so forth as well.
There's a flood over here.
That's right. But the good thing about facilities is that it's not boring. It's just always interesting. It always keeps you, every day is a new challenge. I don't recall ever having a same day where I'm walking, I'm jumping, but the time management is one of those things as well. I think every facilities manager struggles with because as you're driving to work or as you in the train you're thinking, this is what I'm going to do. This is my plan, blah, blah, blah. And as soon as you walk in, we had a fire. No worries, let's go do this. Now we have to do that.
Sometimes we've got meetings booked with facility managers, and at a certain time we rock up and then they're like, I'm sorry, I'm going to be 20 minutes late because I've just had this and this come up.
Exactly. Exactly right.
It happens all the time.
That's spot on. To answer your question, in relation to challenges is concerned, it's always a learning exercise. And I think you should never be afraid of a failure. I've had fair share of failures in my career. The thing is, good thing that you can take out from that is that learn from that failure and see, what worked, what didn't work. And next time around when the same situation comes up, you just use your experience and knowledge and try and do things better. It doesn't work all the time, but eventually you'll get the hang of it.
Such a good
or you'll get used to it.
Yeah.
So, it's only that sort of outlook is the only way to get better in life, right? Otherwise, if you don't have that outlook and you don't see everything as a learning opportunity, you're going to become stagnant. You're going to hit a roadblock and not be able to get over it.
No, exactly right. Yeah. Exactly right.
What does your role look like now? So if we go from building manager back in the day, what are you now doing? What are you managing?
my career has been quite diverse. Like as I said, initially building manager, I felt it was difficult and eventually got used to it. Then moving into projects, same thing. I remember earlier on when I was doing projects, there's one guy came in and he said, the way you're managing project, my 5-year-old can do better than that. And
he was either very rude or had a very smart 5-year-old.
That's exactly right. Like it was confronting. It was confronting, and it was to an extent. I guess you feel that you're being criticized in that environment, but look, laugh it off and move on from there and see where that person is coming from. Look, at the end of my career, that individual who said that to me, he became a very close friend of mine. In fact, very, very supportive at the end of the day as well. And we used to work cohesively afterwards as well. Challenges that you just face.
Do you ever remind him of that day?
No. It was he was a great guy. He was a quirky, funny, but it was just one of those ways as well. Every individual is unique. It was interesting. Yeah. Learned a lot along the way, and defense was a completely different challenge. When I work in defense, it was like literally you are managing mini cities.
Wow.
So you're dealing with fuel, you're dealing with airport, you're dealing with high-rise buildings to warehouses and all the other stuff. And it was interesting, very interesting.
Yeah.
I think from a career-wise, if anyone can have an opportunity to go and work in defense, I would strongly recommend for them to do that.
Okay.
It touches on everything.
The range.
The range is so broad and makes you appreciate what goes on as far as in the day-to-day operations is concerned. Yeah.
The FMs that I speak to who have worked in broad sectors, they're so well-rounded. Like the ones who are, they're looking at after residential, which I'm assuming is in defence as well. They've got the residential portfolio of all the defence force, and then they've got the commercial offices, and then they've got the training grounds, and they've got factories.
Exactly.
They've got everything, and so they've touched nearly every aspect of facility management imaginable.
100%. And I guess the situation, the way it sort of changes in seconds, that's also quite interesting in a way too. Like when we had floods, and as I was mentioning in the train too, then we had floods, we had other situations as well. On SES and call upon the troops to come and help out. And sometimes what happens is it's a last minute thing. So you one minute you know that you've got 3,000 rooms that you can occupy and you can associate you can base your troops into. Next minute you know as well that you're carrying out the warehouses and putting in some temporary beds and stuff as well for them to be there so they can help out. But at the same time, like amount of work they do. And it's a different level of appreciation once you go in that environment to see what they go through.
Yeah. It was we've spoken with someone who's likened the role of an FM or PM to managing properties for companies or businesses where that's not their core business.
Yeah.
So their core business is not properties or facilities.
Yes.
And what it means is your core business is buildings and facilities.
That's right.
And so you can move to all these diverse, it doesn't matter whether it's defense, whether it's a retail company, a commercial office tower, you can move around because your core business is the facility.
That's right. That's right.
And that sort of shows how agile you've been able to be in your career, right?
No, exactly right. And that's a really good point. In fact, one of the account directors that I had the pleasure of working with, he said to me earlier on when I joined defense is that our job is to take that worry away from them of managing facilities, or why the air conditioning is not working, or why the building is not functioning like that. So they can focus on bigger and better things, and focus on protecting the countries and doing major things. So you are in a way part of a bigger picture where you're supporting them, but look at it and think of it in that manner as well. They shouldn't worry about air conditioning. They shouldn't worry about these sort of things. That's your job to focus on. So you can just get them to focus on bigger picture.
Yeah.
So that kind of resonated with us, and we kind of worked through that. Look, along the way, the other thing is that whatever you learn, whatever I learned in my career as well, I always try and encourage the people who work with me and young professionals who are starting off as well, to try and pass on that knowledge and try and sort of take them to, I guess, along with you as well on that journey to teach them and pass on whatever you possibly can.
And that's why you probably post some. You're so helpful. You're so helpful on LinkedIn.
I try to.
Yeah, absolutely. So, Defence Force.
Yeah.
Where to next?
I'm not sure. I don't know. Oh no! Look, currently looking after education portfolio. The 30 sites nationally. It's something different, and look, every aspect of facilities I quite enjoyed. I don't know where the future is going to be, but yes. But so far it has been great.
Yeah. Does the managing? Is there a certain point where like you're managing one site and then managing 30 sites?
Yeah.
Is it different?
Of course.
I know, I imagine it's different, but is there a point where it becomes all the same, is what I mean?
No, as I said, like I think naturally, as far as my own personality is concerned, I tend to get bored very, very easily.
Yep.
And what I guess kept me in facilities and kept me going is that diversity and uniqueness of this role. It's not the same. It is, in a way, it is the same. Like you're coming in and you're doing emails and all the other stuff, which is normal. But at the same time, you're faced with unique challenges. You know.
Because you know how you hear parents say, one child was hard. Then I had 2 children. That was even harder.
Yes.
Then I had 3 children, and somehow it was a little bit easier. And then 4, 5, and 6, they were just like, it didn't even matter.
Like in saying, there are some certain fundamentals that you apply to every single role when it comes to asset management, asset life cycle planning, budgeting, all those sort of things. The formula is the same. So it's just rinse and repeat. Yes, no doubt about that. But then the thing is, you alluded to earlier on, when you're looking after one property versus looking after 30 properties, every property is different. Yes. Every client is different. Every situation is different. Sometimes you're dealing with trying to figure out where the water leak is coming from.
Yes.
Okay? And next time around, you know that obviously this is the cause of the water leak right in front of you as well, but no one wants to do anything about it. You know, and so it's just one of those things.
And different clients care about different things.
Absolutely.
So at the last facilities you worked at, that client may have cared about water leaks, but this new client doesn't give 2 cares about a water leak.
No, it doesn't care. Like everyone, I'll tell you this story. I used to look after this site, and it had a seawall in there, and also seagulls and all the other animals used to obviously do their business on that too, and we used to refer to them as guano. But so one of the gentlemen that I was dealing with, he read this article in USA saying that these things can be carcinogenic as well to the human health and stuff too. So he wrote this huge paragraph on, you need to do something about this. And that study wasn't really based on any solid information. It was just one of the snippets taken out from the thing and expecting you to deal with that. But look, at the end of the day, we had to give that assurance that, okay, yeah, we are doing everything what we possibly can. So we put some measures around it. But just to give you an example, the uniqueness of this role.
Yes.
So sometimes you're not always dealing with the same thing. There are some very, very unique scenarios.
Yeah.
Sounds like, again, it comes back to people skills. It's how do you
It does.
how do you handle that, and how do you work that relationship?
I guess you got to stay calm.
Yeah.
You got to stay calm. Situation,
Like
I
a
think.
duck.
Oh, yeah.
The feet are going crazy, but you just look cool, calm, and collected above the water.
Kind of. Look, mental health is very, very important, and I think nowadays in this industry, it can be very, very stressing role. No doubt about that. It, as I said, even though as exciting, as diverse, and as challenging it can be, it can take toll on your mental health, and you have to try and smile and try and see the light at the end of the tunnel, not the train coming at you, but try and sort of stay positive and smile and try and help out where you possibly can. People skills, leverage off your network, reach out to the professionals, and sort of work through that. Look, not every single situation you'll be able to deal with. There are going to be areas where, as I said, the failure will happen, and it's inevitable in those situations. But just try and stay positive as you possibly can, and reach out to the resources, and work through and talk as much as you possibly can, and learn from your mistakes.
So good.
Yeah.
Do you have like a memory or a funniest moment, or like a can't believe that happened moment?
Can't believe that happened. I'm just trying to think. Like as I was saying in the thing as well, we had floods a few years ago in Richmond area, and so the whole base was flooded, and there was flood around it, and they were talking about, oh, this is once in 100-year flood, and this has never happened, and this is records broken and stuff as well.
Yeah.
So we did everything possible to try and make sure the base is maintained. Anyway, floods disappeared, and we moved on from there. Next year, rain season came in, same flood happened.
Twice in 100-year flood.
Twice in 100-year flood. It was like once in a 500-year flood. No problem, same thing. Went out there, did everything, whatever we can. The following year came in, same thing happened.
Patrick.
So records were broken one after the other. That's something that we found. Like, oh look, it was chaotic at the time when we were dealing with those situations, but we found it funny way of dealing with certain situations as well.
Yeah. In terms of, you've been in the industry for a while, you've seen trends come and go. Are there any trends that you're like, this is here to stay? Trends.
Look, I think at the moment the AI trend is quite strong. Like there are positives to it. I think as time progresses as well, I think this will be a fantastic, innovation to help facilities. In saying that, a lot of the places that I worked at, there are a lot of systems, a lot of tools to help you out, but not every single system is as helpful.
No.
You still revert back to spreadsheets, and kind of a lot of the
everywhere always ends up reverting back to a spreadsheet.
Everywhere, yes. A spreadsheet is our go-to when it comes to managing certain aspects of facilities.
Yes.
But I think AI will evolve, and I think there's some good things coming out of that. Obviously, there's also a skepticism in terms of where it's going to go, and terminators are going to come in, but I don't know. But as far as I know, so far it looks pretty promising.
Love that.